Okie dokie boys and girls, it is day 345 of bulking to 75 kilos with calisthenics only, and today we have another pistol squat day. Now, squatting on one leg is very fun but also very complex, and I feel like today is gonna be another experiment, another opportunity to learn about training, because training is never black and white. There's always new things to discover, whether you have trained for 9+ years like me, or you've trained for 5 weeks or less, or you've trained for 30 years. If you're serious about training and you like it, there is always going to be something that you notice, some opportunity for you to learn. And that's also the beautiful thing about training. But today what I'm going to learn is, well, how to make the pistol squat as hard as possible. I mentioned this in one of the previous workouts where I was doing lighter weight. Today I'm also doing lighter weight. It's like 28 kilos on the bar. So the pistol squats are not going to be heavy today, but I'm going to try and learn how to make them as hard as possible on my quadriceps. And last time I did this as well, or I guess the workout before last squatting day, because I'm alternating technique and heavy days. But last technique day, I was also trying to make the pistol squat as hard as possible. But lately I've been doing greasing the groove, and greasing the groove is basically this training style where you're doing like sets throughout the day, very light sets throughout the day. So I've been doing pistol squats, 1 set on each leg for 2 reps with 24 kilos, very light, in the morning and the evening. And every time there's this new thing you learn about the pistol squat. And so a couple of days ago, I learned that I can go way deeper in the pistol squat than I first imagined. And basically, that's going to make my pistol squat harder, right? Because I have a longer range of motion. And so today I want to try this in an actual workout. I don't know how it's going to go, but basically I'm going to, again, just go for 5 sets of 6. Slow and control negatives, but go way deeper. And so by increasing the range of motion, I'm basically using the same weight, but increasing the difficulty. And, oftentimes, like, I want to lift heavy weight, right? But you can't always lift heavy weight and then still recover. So every now and then you gotta throw in this new thing, which is, that's the experiment for today. That's fucking exciting, right? So I don't know how difficult these reps are gonna be, but I feel like it's gonna be, quite fun to discover. And, basically by using lower weight to still push myself, it's gonna be focused on my quadriceps, but my nervous system, I guess, like my entire body, will still be hopefully still be relatively fresh after today's workout. So a lot of fun things to discover. Yeah, let's just get started. 5 sets. I will do a set on the left and then a set on the right separately, because otherwise it's gonna be too long of a set to keep the dumbbells on my shoulders. But basically left first, right, because that's the weaker one, and then just match on the other. But yeah, 28 kilos. Let's go. Let's see how deep I can squat. Yeah, shit. This is good. This is hard. All right, 9 more sets, I guess. Fuck. I think I fucked up my legs. The order. Okay, I fucked up the order. And I fucked up the amount of reps. Time for the last set. 1 more rep on the right one. And then 6 on the left. Fuck! Alright. Let me check the reps again before I fucking say it's over. Okay, so this is post-training Timmy, but imagine that it's still during the workout and I just finished the pistol squats. So holy fucking shit, I finished the pistol squats. But those are some intense pistol squats, you know. When you go down completely, so the back of your leg, your hamstring is just completely glued to your calf, you know. It's a little difference compared to just going 90 degrees, but it's also a very big difference, and the point of failure really just moves to your quadriceps, which is, in my case, just what I wanted, you know. You have so many different ways of executing one exercise, and basically, you know, it's good to learn all of them, because then that just means that you have more tools in your toolbox, you know, more tools for different purposes. So you have a hammer if you just want to beat down a wall completely, but you have like a small pickaxe thing, I guess, if you just want to, you know, point to a small part. But yeah, very intense. And one thing you have to be careful with the pistol squats is when you want to target your quadriceps, right? When you go back up, it's very easy in the pistol squat to cheat a little bit by bending forward, because even if you have weight on the pistol squat, it's not a lot of weight, right? 28 kilos in my case today. So you won't be punished very hard for, you know, bending forward. If you do a barbell squat and you have like 120 kilos and then you bend your back a little bit and you move forward, it's over instantly because it's such a big amount of weight on your back, and your lower back is going to be killed. But in the pistol squat, even a very small amount of weight is gonna give you, or is giving you, the ability to train very heavy. And so, you know, you don't necessarily get punished for going forward, for bending forward a little bit and compensating for the weakness in your quadriceps, which it's something I try to pay attention to, but definitely it was the case in my last 2 sets, because then I felt that I was getting a lower back pump. But anyways, now moving on to Bulgarian squats. Today I'm doing a bit less sets because, you know, the Bulgarian squat is not really like a main focus of mine. It's just an exercise that I do to have a bit of finisher sets after the pistol squats, because I'm coming back from an overuse injury, and you know, you want to do your training as specific as possible. So if you can, you know, do finisher sets with the exercise you want to get strong at. But in my case, I also don't want to trigger an overuse injury again, so I take a different exercise. You know, you do what you can do, right? You don't have to do anything, but you do what you can do, in the sense of, you know, you can train harder, but you can also train smarter in your, like, for your purposes, right? And for your situation. But yeah, Bulgarian squats, 28 kilos, same weight as the pistol squat, aiming for 3 sets, a bit less sets than usual, and basically 10 reps, very slow, and you'll see how that goes. But the reason I'm doing a bit less sets today, 3 sets instead of 5, is because, you know, I want to back off a little bit. Next leg day session, or the pistol squat session in a couple days, is going to be a very big one for me, like containing huge PRs. So I want to get ready for that one. And a question I got from a viewer, I've actually gotten it many times, is like, how often should you deload? In my opinion, right, the deload, the less you have to do it, the better. Because either you're doing a deload for some kind of big goal you want to achieve. In that case, you want to be extra rested, so it's a good thing to back off for a couple days. But unless you have a big goal, right, I don't think that you should aim to do deloads, right? Instead, what you should aim for is to make your training as sustainable as possible. So, of course, if your training is too easy, you're not gonna make gains, but you wanna like push the envelope, like you wanna push your body like just to the point that you're able to recover, but also not over that certain threshold where that if you keep up the intensity for a while, you know, your body is not going to be able to recover anymore. So there's this threshold, you know, that allows you to recover sustainably and basically keep training intensity over like a long while. And if you go over it for a period of time, your body is going to crash down, and that's when you feel like you have a deload. So if you feel like you need a deload and you don't have like a big goal or something, that's basically a sign that you fucked up in your training intensity. You went too hard for a long period of time. So you want to be just below that threshold line or just on it so that you're able to recover. And if you can do that properly, you will never need a deload. That's the way I look at it. But let's get started with the Bulgarian squats. Okie dokie, so that's it for today's training, and I'm very satisfied with this one. You know, the Bulgarian squats were harder than expected. I fucking failed on rep number 7 on set number 3, but I guess in the context of training, that's an achievement, right? And today I reached failure with less amount of volume. I got good volume on the pistol squats, like technique work, so I feel like I'm building a good base towards some fat PRs on the pistol squats at the end of this bulk. But yeah, that's it for today's training, and well, I feel like I learned a lot, you know, today. I did those very deep pistol squats, and maybe I've done it in the past, but like certainly not in the last half year, I feel like. And you know, lately I've been trying to learn how to like really make the pistol squat as hard as possible. And it sounds dumb when you want to lift a lot of weight, right? But at the same time, because you know I'm so focused on technique right now, I'm able to build a strong base in every little aspect of the pistol squat, you know, in every little position. So I'm not using momentum to go in the bottom half of the squat and then bounce back up. So my base is strong everywhere, and I feel like it's allowing me to push heavier weights on the sessions that I do want to go heavy, right? So, you know, there's a lot of different tools for different purposes, and I feel like the more that you learn them, the better. But yeah, I was able to do it today, and I'm very happy with it, you know. So, you know, don't get yourself stuck in all of these boxes and ways of thinking, and this is right and that is wrong. You know, just experiment, you know, try new things, fuck around and find out, and just like take what works for you and throw away the other stuff that doesn't. But yeah, I'm gonna have some dinner and basically recover for tomorrow's session. You know, I was feeling a bit tired this morning, feel like I had a bit of an ache in my throat, so maybe I'm catching a cold. I hope not, but you know, only one thing to compensate for that, which is better recovery, you know, so some good food and some more sleep, and I'll catch you tomorrow for another leg day. Let's go.